Africa is a huge continent with huge challenges, such as HIV/AIDS, unemployment, and often harsh conditions. But it is also a continent of success stories, made possible by organizations such as USAID and CARE that work in partnership with organizations around the world and also in South Africa. These agencies, endorsed by the Departments of Social Development and Health, provide the funding and technical expertise and facilitate the projects that make many little miracles possible, life-changing events for the people involved, events that give hope to those who had none, and that eventually lead to empowerment, particularly of women caring for children. One such woman responsible for several children is Mamoyabo Ragolane. She lives in South Africa's northernmost province, Limpopo. Most often these days, you will find Mamoyabo working away on her sewing machine, producing clothes to make a living. After her husband's death in 1995, the grieving Mamoyabo suddenly had to fend for herself and her 5 children. She had no choice but to borrow money from loan sharks to keep her family going. The sky-high interest rates of 50% and up, charged by loan sharks, caused Mamoyabo to quickly plummet deep into debt. She was unable to meet her household's most basic needs. But then, she became a member of the Choice Support Group, one of CARE's implementing partners, and this step eventually led to Mamoyabo receiving training and becoming a member of one of the voluntary savings and loan groups. Mamoyabo's first goal was to pay off the money she owed the loan shark. As soon as she was back on her financial feet, she used the money she could spare to buy a sewing machine and started a small income-generating business.
The families that we work with don't have a choice because they're unbankable, so they fall prey to loan sharks. Loan sharks are much more exploitative. So VSL gives them a choice to do whatever they want to do with their own money. And it gives them ability to make decisions which they cannot make when they are slaves of loan sharks.
The money she could borrow from her voluntary savings and loan group, or VS&L for short, and the money she earned through her involvement with the group, made it possible for Mamoyabo to gradually grow her business. Nowadays, Mamoyabo's household consists of her own 5 children, all unemployed, as well as 4 grandchildren between the ages of 2 and 7. They are classified as vulnerable children, so the family receives child support grants for the little ones. But that is not enough. So Mamoyabo works away, creating and selling lovely traditional outfits. She even travels to Durban, where fabric is much less expensive, to bulk buy the material she uses. The family has sufficient food, and they can afford to buy school uniforms and books. As the owner of a successful micro-business enterprise who is finally free of debt, Mamoyabo even manages to support one of her daughters at university. Mamoyabo has found renewed pride and hope and can face the future with confidence. The organization which worked the almost miraculous transformation in Mamoyabo's life is a community-based microfinancing project, locally known as the Voluntary Savings and Loan Program. There are more than 400 such groups in South Africa. In Limpopo, approximately 2,000 people are members of voluntary savings and loan groups. At least 75% of the members are women, mostly single and often elderly women who take care of children and orphans. By working little miracles, such as Mamoyabo's, the highly successful project is making a massive contribution to reducing the vulnerability of households, particularly in poverty-stricken rural areas. These drawings, by children from the area, were gathered during the course of 2 care studies in Limpopo. One gains a good and heart-wrenching idea of just how bleak the circumstances are for so many defenseless children struggling to cope. The studies verify that care projects need to assist children and their caregivers in several ways simultaneously by tackling poverty and providing healthcare and education. The research makes it abundantly clear that the orphans and vulnerable children in affected communities are preoccupied with worries and responsibilities that should not feature in a child's life. It is to these children that organizations like USAID reach out, providing humanitarian assistance to support people's efforts to help themselves. The majority of vulnerable children live with a surviving family member. Whether the head of the household is a widowed parent or a grandparent, the VS&L tool helps to build a safer family environment for children who have lost a parent due to AIDS or other related causes. PEPFAR, the US President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief, provides the funding. In this manner, CARE creates linkages and partnerships with government institutions, the private sector, donor organizations, and with local development agencies. CARE's approach ensures maximum impact and long-term sustainability of projects because skills are transferred and resources are rechanneled. The organization believes that since women and children are disproportionately affected by poverty, investing in women has the most positive effect on poor households. This is why field workers recruit women who care for orphans and vulnerable children. These women often have very low levels of education and absolutely no access to formal financial institutions. The main goal of VS&L is to build economic safety nets and to contribute to sustainable improvement in the well-being of poor families. Local communities can adapt the model to suit their needs, and members use VS&L to creatively expand the value of social grants. The voluntary savings and loan model, made possible by PEPFAR, USAID, and CARE, is one of those very simple ideas that goes an amazingly long way towards creating a better life for everyone it touches.